Reformation. Reformation is a huge word, and certainly there are significant moments that have taken place in the church world over the last 2,000, even 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years that history shows us that there were reforms in God's people. But today I want to talk not just about God's people at large, but a reformation in you and I. As we're continuing our weekly devotions together, we find ourselves in the book of Ezra. I want to encourage you to read it. But a reformation is taking place in God's children as they return to the land. And what we see as they return, this reformation first begins with returning to God. Right? You see a spiritual awakening take place, and all of a sudden they're seeking God out with a new heart. And there's a man named Ezra, right? Governor named Nehemiah. There's other characters that show up, but Ezra's talking to the people about seeking God, and the people do seek God. And as they're returning to God, they're actually rebuilding their foundation. What I mean by that is they're rebuilding their relationship with God, seeking Him out through His Word. That's huge in the book of Ezra, the power of God's Word, and it's huge for you and me. And so I don't know where you are in your relationship with God, but the hope is right now, and maybe today's the day where you begin to seek God with a new heart. Seek Him with a new heart, returning to God, and then you're rebuilding a foundation. You want to be in His Word, and so maybe it begins with reading the book of Ezra. But also another R that shows up in the book of Ezra is that they remove idols, that we're called to remove idols in our life. Confess sins, acknowledge those idols, those things that lead us away from God, our brokenness. Not just to remove idols, but also to renew worship. This is how we are reformed in our relationship with God. We renew our heart of worshiping Him. Ezra calls the people back to the sacred assembly. Right? Remember the Sabbath day, resting in God, renewing worship, renewing their love for God, singing praises to God. And as they do that, they're also called into relational living. In relational living that we see in the book of Ezra, people grow stronger in their relationship with God. So today, my hope would be that you would return to God. Certainly right now you're returning to Him, but that you continue to return to Him. Seek Him first. That you rebuild your foundation, and that foundation is God's Word. So get into His Word even more so than this just devotion. Remove idols, confess sins in your life. Renew your heart for worshiping God, loving God first and foremost. And also relational living. Do life with somebody else. Forgiveness, patience, relational living, loving our neighbors. So today, may God cause a reformation to take place in your life and in my life, just like He did thousands of years ago during the time of Ezra.